What is up, YouTube? It is Doc here, Docky Style Gaming, and I am back at it again with another GodFall video for you all today. And in this one, we are taking a look at Mesa and all of her Valorplate Shards Exalted. And I must say, Mesa is pretty damn OP. Every single one of her shards are very, very good. And if you love Consume, you might as well be running Mesa because she is probably one of the best Consume Valorplates in the game. And with the poison duration and poison stacks, you can deal the most and maximum amount of damage with Mesa. So without wasting any more of y'all's time, let's hop straight into this video and straight into the shard breakdowns. So first and foremost, we are going to take a look at Line in the Sand. Now, Line in the Sand, I have been going back and forth between with that and Dusk of the Earth, but what Line in the Sand does is whenever you place a banner, you unleash a shockwave that deals 14,500 earth damage and inflicts poison. And whenever you hit a weak point while within your banner, you also increase the power of each poison stack on all enemies within the banner. Now, this is great for multiple reasons because one, like I said, Mesa is very, very good when it comes to consuming, but being able to apply some poison stacks on enemies and the fact that her passive is her polarity attacks inflict elements. If you pop a polarity attack while you're within this banner, giving even more enemies poison stacks and increasing that poison damage is super, super useful. But on top of that, it keeps dealing out this earth shockwave that deals poison damage. Most of the banner abilities in this game are very good, but Mesa's is definitely one of the best. But moving on to the next shard, we have Dusk of the Earth. It says whenever you hit an enemy with a Petrifying Slam, you deal 5,000 bonus earth damage that inflicts poison. Whenever you perform a Petrifying Slam, create a poison cloud for 15 seconds that deals 1,250 earth damage per second. And for each enemy hit by the Earth Slam, you gain 45% poison power while you are within that cloud. Now, this shard as well is a very, very powerful shard. Honestly, all of Mesa's shards are extremely good, but consistent earth damage ticks and increased poison power on top of being able to inflict poison in an AoE is ridiculous. The more poison you can put on enemies, the crazier your consume can be as well. Now, like I mentioned in some of my other videos, in order to get the most out of the Dusk of the Earth, you will have to unlock a specific skill, which is Petrifying Slam. Now, luckily, you only need to put one skill point into shield attacks, but by doing so, you will unlock Petrifying Slam. So if you want to take advantage of it, unlock that ability because, like I said again, I typically switch between Dusk of the Earth and Line in the Sand, but honestly, I still lean more towards Dusk of the Earth. It is very, very useful. I like the increased power in my poison stacks with Line in the Sand, but Dusk of the Earth, I can proc it more often. So damage wise, I personally feel like I get more out of Dusk of the Earth than I will out of Line of the Sand, but again, both are very, very good shards, especially in Exalted Towers of Trials. Next, let's take a look at Way of the Mountain. Mesa's probably worst shard if I'm being real. It's not terrible, but the fact that you need Sundering Slam is the main issue with it. But it says whenever your Sundering Slam becomes fully charged, you consume poison from nearby enemies. If any poison stacks are consumed this way, the slam unleashes a shockwave that deals earth damage equal to 25% of the damage dealt. Now, why this isn't that great is because this is essentially a poison version of the Beetle Talisman. If you really want to take advantage of this, you might as well rock the Beetle Talisman and you don't have to worry about using Sundering Slam. Sundering Slam is a skill that you have to unlock on your skill grid as well, but also you have to fully charge it. And if any of y'all have been playing Exalted Towers of Trials, you pretty much only get one chance to properly fully charge a Sundering Slam, and that's at the very beginning of every match. And if you're doing it at the very beginning, you're not going to be able to consume poison stacks off anything because nothing's hit with poison. So this isn't that great for in-game, maybe for other game modes where it's not as hectic and where bosses can't just one-shot you, but you don't want to be standing in a specific area charging your fist to slam down with this. And then again, there's also a cursed gear piece that can give you this exact same perk, but instead of earth damage, you deal fire damage. And you don't have to worry about doing Sundering Slam. And on top of all of this, she already has a passive that lets her consume way easier than using Sundering Slam. So though this shard is actually useful, there's just so many other things in her arsenal and just in the game that can do exactly what this does with less work and less risk of death. So that's the main reason why I don't care too much for Way of the Mountain. But all in all, it's still not a bad shard, because again, if you watch most people's consume builds, they're rocking Beetle Talisman, and this shard essentially gives you a Beetle Talisman. Granted, you have to use Sundering Slam to proc it. And also, before I forget, because I completely forgot to mention it, because again, I just kind of don't care for Way of the Mountain, if you do want to use Way of the Mountain, you will need to unlock the Sundering Slam skill, which is in Sundering Slam. Just put 1 skill point into it and you'll be good. Sundering Slam is actually a really good ability and very useful in game, just not practical in Exalted Towers Trials. It takes way too long to fully charge it, and you're pretty much only going to use it once per floor or trial. Things are too hectic for you to be stuck in one place trying to charge your Sundering Slam. But now let's move on to her last and final shard, which is honestly her most powerful shard and is the game-changing shard when it comes to Mesa, and that is the Avalanche Technique. Whenever you consume poison, 4% of that damage is stored in your Vengeance meter, max 50,000 damage. Whenever you hit an enemy with your timing attack while your Vengeance meter is full, you expend your Vengeance meter to deal earth damage equal to the amount expended. Now, this is super dope for multiple reasons. One, because this scales off of element power as well. So if you have high element power, you're consuming a whole lot of damage and dishing out a crap ton more. Millions and millions of damage. I've seen damage numbers in the 20 millions and 50 millions, and I'm sure you could get even higher. But on top of that, with their passive, which we'll get into, you're always essentially going to be consuming poison, meaning you'll be able to fill up this Vengeance meter crazy fast and deal out millions upon millions of damage extremely fast. Granted, with a proper build, but being able to consume poison stacks so easy with her passive abilities paired with the Avalanche Technique is stupid powerful. Mesa is one of the few Valorplates in the game that you can easily solo Exalted Towers of Trials with if you have a decent build. With her ability to consume so much damage, yeah, she is a monster and definitely a force to be reckoned with, especially in team play. If you have a proper team, that additional Mesa consume damage is ridiculous. Now granted, it is really based on your element power, so you're going to want to spec into a lot of element power with Mesa. And if you take a look at just some of the augments I was rocking right now on this build, I tried to spec into element power as much as possible because again, element power damage on this build is ridiculous. But moving on from her shards, let's take a quick look at her passive abilities now, because again, this is really what makes Mesa the game changer Valorplate in my opinion. She was always a top 5 Valorplate in my eyes with her crowd control potential, but now with her extra passive abilities, she is a top 3 Valorplate in my eyes. So of course, her first passive ability is polarity attacks to deal earth damage and inflict poison. If you build properly to get your polarity attack up fast, you can essentially spam your poison procs non-stop. Now, on top of all of this, her Ascended passive ability makes your timing attacks consume poison. This is essentially like having the Heavenly Reversal Cursed Ring on, but now it's built in on Mesa. And because everything can pretty much be a timing attack, this is ridiculous for consuming crazy amount of damage and, like I said, for making the most out of the final shard, the Avalanche Technique. Because whenever your Vengeance meter is full and you hit an enemy with your weapon technique, you'll be dealing all that damage to them. Well, if you're hitting enemies with your weapon techniques anyway, you should always be proccing timing attacks. And every time you pop a timing attack, you consume poison. And whenever you consume poison, that goes into your Vengeance meter. And then you hit an enemy with a weapon tech and you just rinse and repeat. You're constantly building up your Vengeance meter for your Avalanche Technique. And then every time you hit an enemy again with your weapon tech, you're dealing all of that damage back out. Mesa's Ascendant passive ability is literally a game changer. And then lastly, we have her Exalted passive, which gives her 30% more poison power, which is very, very good. Again, element power is a major factor on this build. So if you can get some crazy high element power, you're going to be doing some crazy damage and crazy consume damage as well. They really turned Mesa into a beast of a Valorplate, where just about every single one of her shards are extremely powerful. If you haven't picked up Mesa, if you haven't played Mesa, if you haven't seen any of my old Mesa builds, go check out some of those old Mesa builds. And honestly, with these shards, you can still run through and get pretty decent through Exalted Towers of Trials. Now, granted, I have changed my build a lot since then, but even with my previous builds on the channel paired with her shards, Mesa is still a force to be reckoned with. So if you're a new player or just starting to unlock shards right now and are looking for another Valorplate Shards to unlock, definitely go for Mesa. Like I said, Mesa is a beast. Poison is a powerful proc. The duration is crazy. The power is crazy. And with all of Mesa's shards and her passive abilities, yeah, don't want to say she's broken because I don't need them nerfing her yet, but she is very powerful. She is definitely going to be a sleeping giant when people start getting their hands on her. But before I wrap it up, I will leave a link to my old Mesa video right here. And if you are playing Mesa, let me know in the comment section below, along with what 2 shards you're using. Again, I keep going between the first and second with my first shard, but then the Avalanche Technique is always going to be on my build. Like I said, it's too powerful to not have on Mesa. But I am curious to see what some of you other players who have some Mesa builds or potentially some Mesa mains are rocking. Other than that though, I am going to wrap it up. So thank you all for watching like always. Be sure to leave a like if you liked the video. If you didn't, still leave a like. And I will be streaming tonight on Twitch. I've been kind of slacking because I've had some other stuff going on, but I will be back tonight on Twitch streaming some Godfall. So if you're on PS4 or PS5 and want to squad up, definitely stop by the Twitch channel. Link to that is in the video description, along with the link to the Discord where we have guides, builds, LFGs for all things Godfall, other games I cover on the channel, and some games that I don't. So again, if you aren't in the Discord, link to that is in the video description as well. Other than that though, guys, I will catch you all on the next one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the subs. Peace.